What's up, pals, and welcome back to The Passion Project, the podcast for passionate people. I'm so excited you're here, and I'm really excited about today's topic because I wanted to switch up the topics a little bit. This past week, I have been, and as you can see, I'm in a different room. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm recording in my bedroom at my parents' house in Ohio because I've been home visiting for the past week. If you guys don't know, I moved to Florida about 4-ish months ago, back in April, beginning of April. This is my first time being home visiting since I moved. It's kind of an interesting feeling because I'd never moved super far away from home. I went to college about an hour and a half away, Kent State University. So I've never been this far from home, which is actually going to bring us into today's topic, which is home is where you make it. And this is something I've realized through this whole process. And I've actually been asked a few different times to talk about what it was like moving to another state by myself. I moved, I didn't move with a significant other or a friend or anything. I just, kind of went for it. So that's going to be our topic today. For those of you who don't know my background, I grew up in Ohio on Lake Erie, and I went to college at Kent State University. When I went to college, it was weird because I had never been anywhere outside of my hometown. Like most people, unless you're someone who had to move around a lot as a kid. I didn't. I actually grew up in the same place. I was always in the same, I moved a couple times, but different houses, but it was always the same area. So I didn't have that experience of getting outside of that place until I went to college. And again, it wasn't super far, but it already got me in this mindset of thinking like, you remember the place, you remember all these memories somewhere else, and you're always almost comparing what's different about your life now in the place you're in because you're always thinking about how it used to be. So my next big move was to my first and very own apartment. I talked about this a little bit in a past episode, but it was in Lakewood, Ohio, which is right outside of Cleveland. This is my first apartment by myself without roommates. Making it all my own, which was also interesting because the apartment I moved into was not very nice. I wanted something affordable. I wanted to be able to put as much money as I could into my business because I was just getting it started. So I opted for the low rent and just kind of wanted to put up with it, get my footing on my own, and be able to continue putting money into my videos and my business. So with that being said, apartment, not very nice. When I first moved in, I could not see myself ever feeling comfortable there. The area was relatively safe, but it still felt a little My door barely locked. It locked, but it moved with the lock. There were just so many little quirks about the place that I think some people, I don't know, in hindsight, I'm like, why did I want to live there? But here's the thing. Once I moved in, I brought all my stuff. And then once my stuff was there, I started making it my own. You start designing it the way you want. You start pouring yourself into the space. And then what happens? You start to create memories. So all of a sudden, this apartment that seemed like a gross room in a not so nice apartment complex was suddenly my home. It started to feel like home. How? How in the world could that happen? I remember saying to my dad one day how comfortable I felt. I was like, I don't know. I hated the building. I hated the immediate surrounding area. I was always frustrated with maintenance, but for some reason, it just felt like home. And I felt so comfortable there. And believe it or not, I felt very safe there. So what was it? And my dad goes, well, because you made it your home. You made it you. You put yourself into the space. And that was kind of eye-opening. I was thinking, maybe it doesn't matter where you're at. Maybe it doesn't even always matter who's there and who you're near, immediate location. It's more about pouring yourself into the space. You make it home. It becomes you. It becomes an extension of you. It's your space. And so then obviously the next step is me now living in Florida. I made this what felt to me like a big move. It was scary. It was far from family. I didn't know anyone. I had no friends moving down there. I didn't know anyone in my apartment complex. Luckily, I do have family that's down there in the winter, but that's it. They're not there, they were there right when I moved in, but not there like I'm used to. Being surrounded by family, being surrounded by people I know, being surrounded by familiar places that are within an hour of drive. So it was scary. It was a big adjustment. And fortunately, my apartment is a lot nicer now. And so I moved in, I got my stuff there. And I remember the first night moving in thinking, I like, what is this place? Where am I? I wasn't comfortable. I couldn't fall asleep. I woke up multiple times throughout the night. I found myself wishing I was in my old apartment that wasn't so nice, that I was not spiteful, but like there were many things that I was like, oh, I can't wait to like get out of here because X, Y, and Z. I found myself missing that place. Why? Because I made it home. And so as I've lived in my new place, it slowly started to feel more like home. Why? Again, because you make it home. You get to pour yourself into the empty space and it becomes you. Home is within you. I think a lot of times it's easy to feel like home is a certain location, and it can feel like it and you can make it that way, but it's because you make it that way. You're not just going to show up somewhere and it's immediately going to be home. Like I said, home is within you. And even someone who's been in the same place for many years, it's that way because they've poured themselves into the area, the place, the home. One of my friends just moved into an RV. That's home. It's going to move. It's not a location. It comes from within you. If you guys don't know already, I'm really into a lot of spirituality stuff. And one of the biggest messages, like spirituality, mindfulness, I've talked about in a couple episodes. But one of the biggest things with mindfulness and spirituality is that they talk about being the creator of your experience. And this really ties into that. And because this is a multi-passionate podcast for multi-passionate people, for people who are passionate about something and want to, go after it, keep that in mind as a general ideology in life, is that you are the creator of your own experience. I just thought that this was something that really hit home and proved that this carries across everything, business, personal life. You get to create your experience. You are a unique creator, and everybody's experience is going to be different. You are what makes every place, every relationship, every situation unique. It's you. So don't forget how special you are, and use this ideology as you are following your passion. If you're multi-passionate, being multi-passionate is a superpower in and of itself. So keep on going. We're figuring this out together as always. And in whatever you do, pour yourself into it. Pour your heart into it. Go all out. Because even if it doesn't work out, at the end of the day, you'll be able to know and you'll be able to say that you did it. You went for it. And if it doesn't work out, that's just how it's meant to be. So that is going to wrap up today's podcast. I really just wanted to talk about that because it was hitting home for me this past week, being home, seeing some old childhood memories, some childhood places. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If there's any other topics that you guys want to hear about, I've been wanting to experiment with some new topics to see what really resonates with everyone. Send in your questions, feedback, podcast episode suggestions to Hallee's Passion Project. That's HALLEE, Hallee's Passion Project @gmail.com. If you're feeling extra generous, share this on social media, send it to somebody who you think it could benefit, and leave us a review. It would mean the world to me. I'm really trying to grow this community to help you guys out and reach as many multi-passionate and passionate people as we can. So thanks again, pals, for listening in, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out.